You know, as much as I love the Shield Plus, the Performance Center, the Equalizer, the P365 Spectra Comp, there is still no better concealed carry gun that I found for well under $300 than the Taurus GX4. And today I want to give you somewhat of an update and my plans for the GX4 here, and just kind of go over what this gun is all about and why I think it's so good. So when I talk about pricing, you know, I can't tell you where to go buy a gun. That's YouTube's rules, not mine. But I have seen these things on sale sometimes for well under 250 bucks. And almost all the time under $300. And so the pricing is definitely good. And you would think with a gun like that, you know, you're not going to get the best materials, and you might get a little spotty reliability, but that has not been the case with these guys. And I have a theory on that, because Taurus has long been known for having pretty decent revolvers, but anything else, pretty much stay away. And over the past few years, they've really done a good job of reshaping their image as a budget-friendly and reliable option. And I've seen that firsthand with the GX4, the G3, the G2C. They've all been really good. You know, when you have a company like Taurus that has spent their lifetime almost, or modern lifetime, being known as fairly unreliable, that's why you see the price of these things where they're at. Now, I would suspect that as time goes along, more and more people start to see, man, these things are really a viable option. That price may go up, or maybe they kind of stay where they're at. Who knows? But I would imagine the prices eventually start to go up. They start to come out with different models, a little bit more tricked out models, maybe something like, not like the Spectra Comp, but, you know, those types of guns. And, you know, once people start seeing the value is there, yeah, I don't know, you might see an increase in pricing. Also the materials. And so you have a stainless steel frame, you have an alloy steel slide, and it's gas nitride finished, and then the barrel is stainless steel, and it has a DLC coating. And so the materials on the gun are really good as well. The sizing is also impressive. And so when you look at this gun, they're 18 ounces, 18.7 ounces unloaded, 3-inch barrel, 4.4 inches high. And so it's one of the smaller concealed carry guns, but the important thing there is obviously the grip height is really small, so it's super concealable, but it is, you know, almost 19 ounces. And so it's got a little bit more weight considering the size, and that really helps to soak up the recoil. So when you pull this gun out of a holster at the range, I've never found myself being like, man, I really can't hit anything, dude. I've always felt really confident with this setup. Haven't really carried the Taurus GX4 a whole lot. I haven't had a holster for it, but now we got the holster, so it's good news. That first shot did not hit. Fairly consistent, missed a few shots. The recoil impulse on this one is not bad at all. And that's it. I was going for that spinner again, but the recoil impulse on this one's actually really good. It's got a very comfortable grip too, man. And the point of aim is good. I just don't like the contrast on the sights, man. That front sight has got gunked up on this one quite a bit. And, you know, that's why I really like those SIG sights, man. The P365, the fiber optics on the Shield Plus Performance Center, some kind of contrast, because even white, once you get all that carbon and lead and crap built around it, it becomes harder and harder to see. Couple more things that lead to that shootability. You have a nice undercut. It could be a little bit better, of course, but it's got a decent amount of an undercut under the trigger guard, and they have a really nice grip texturing. One of the best balanced grip texturings on any of these smaller guns. That's their recoil management pad is what they call that, because you have that little area right there that helps with your support hand and helps to keep the gun locked into your hand. They have swappable back straps now. They actually have 2 of them. Of course, you have the XL version, and then you have the Toro version, which is optics ready. This one is not optics ready, but the Toro, the XL Toro, is my next purchase that I have planned with the GX4 here. And so all of those things coupled together make a really shootable gun. Now you would think with a 4.4 inch high gun that, you know, you're maybe going to get 10 rounds, but they actually send 2 11-round mags, and the new ones have 13-round extended magazines. So the capacity is really good as well. Now you don't have a spot for a Picatinny rail, so any light or laser attachment, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to line that up there. I don't typically run them on my carry guns anyways. It's not something I'm really concerned with. But if you're out a lot at night and stuff like that, that may be something you want to consider. Another thing I really like is the way the magazines pop out of the gun. First of all, the mag release is super accessible. Boom, put those magazines in, and it's really a smooth transition getting those magazines in there. Of course, we have our slide stop that we can use as a release. Overall, the gun is super clean. All of our safeties are internal. And another thing is, even though it's a really small gun, it's still not super hard to pull back on the slide. It's not as easy as the G3, but it's manageable. And so one thing I like to do when I get these things up to 1,000 rounds, I don't like to clean them from 0 to 1,000. Sometimes I have to, but I don't like to. And this one I have not, and it has been uber reliable. And so you have that flat face trigger there, right? You get to the wall, and it breaks. Now, it's not the lightest trigger pull, don't get me wrong, but you'll notice, reset, look how much extra travel is in the trigger when I get to the wall. Just a little bit. And so it's a really predictable trigger. And that's something that's important. That's more important to me than a super light trigger, especially on a carry gun. That's not something I want anyways on a carry gun. But if it's predictable, it's got a flat face, I can shoot these guns really well. And the GX4 is a perfect example of that. Another thing I'm excited about is I finally got a holster for this thing after all this time. And so Tolster sent me one of their Oath holsters for this, and so this allows me to do a couple things. First of all, I got to remove this mod wing. Now this mod wing is really good if you want to further conceal your guns. So it's got the 3/8 inch right there, and so if you notice that you print a little bit too much depending on what you wear and your build and all that, this it does a really good job. It does exactly what you want it to do by pushing that grip into your body a little bit better. I typically don't need it with these smaller guns, so I just take it off because it's easier to get the holster on without that, okay? But it's got the really strong Mod 4U clip, so it's designed to never break on you, and it's never going to come loose. With as strong as this thing is, it is a freaking tank. So I'm really happy I got a Tolster and I'm able to carry this thing. By the way, if you've been waiting on a Tolster for the GX4 and now you know that they have them, you can still use our discount code and save yourself quite a bit of money on those. So all in all, it's been reliable. It's at an incredible price. The sizing is almost perfect, and the shootability of this gun is decent for the size that it is. And so still for under 300 bucks, well under 300 bucks in a lot of cases, it does not get any better than the GX4 still. And so I'm really impressed with what these guys are doing. Like I said earlier, I plan on getting one of the XL Toro versions and a little bit longer barrel, and I'm excited to see how that one will stack up to the original GX4. But Taurus keeps doing the thing, man, and as long as they are continuing to support us, bringing us reliable firearms at a good price, I'll continue to support them as well. And we don't work directly with them or anything, but I just tell you how I see it, pros and cons, and all of that. Right now, for the money, there's no better concealed carry gun than the GX4. If you like this video, maybe you'll like my original video on the GX4 or one of these other ones I've done here recently. Big thanks to you guys. See you in the next one. And as always, hold them down.